In the previous session, we talked about how our students can make meaning out of the large volume of content on the web by using an RSS reader. But how do you put that content into the reader? We're going to look at Feedly and Outlook, and we already looked at how you organized Google News in the previous video. We'll also take a look at NetVibes, just to give you a feel for the variety that's out there. Some are easier than others. So for example, I'm going to go to this site called Shoot the Light, and I'm going to say, oh, I want to see when this gets updated. Let me select it. I select the URL of the website, and I can copy it. Then I go over to Feedly, and I'm going to add the content. I can just paste that into the search. It finds it for me. I say, yes, I like that. If it may possibly tell you that there is no RSS feed from that site. So don't be surprised. In that case, you can't add it to a reader. So I'm going to add it to Feedly by clicking on this button, and it will ask, where do you want to send it? So I'm going to send it to photography and click add. So now when I go back to my photography choices, one of them is the Shoot the Light blog. So I can go back there and see it later. Now suppose I want to add Ellen Eisenberg's blog, Culture of Coaching. I can again select that text, copy it, go back over to Feedly, add the content, paste it in, and indeed it does have an RSS read, and I'm going to click Add to Feedly. Where do I want that? Well, I could put that in a number of places. I'm going to create a new category and call it Coaching. And I'm going to put it into Coaching. And you'll see Culture of Coaching is now in the Coaching section or category. Here we are in NetVibes. This is the same RSS reader that the teacher was using in the previous video. And what I want to point out about this one is you can share it publicly or you can keep it private, and that includes your feeds. So that can be convenient if you want to create something and then share it with students so that you can curate some content for them on the topic of whatever you're teaching so that they can make meaning of the world of that topic. So I have created some tabs: general, education, news, ed leadership, and photography, and I'm going to show you how you can add some sites, some feeds to this. So I'm going to go back to this website and I'm going to select the URL. Then I'm going to go over here and let me show you how it all works. So this plus sign at the top of the screen, I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to go to Essentials, and I'm going to say that what I would like to do is do a link. I'll put that link in there, and I'll say that I want to put it in photography and click the plus sign. So now if I go over to photography, it didn't save it. Let's try that one more time. I forgot to hit the save button. There you go. So there's a link, and notice what I'm getting is just a picture of that particular site. If I want to instead have a listing of articles like that, there's a different way to do it in this particular tool. So if I go over to Feeds and I put the link in and click the little triangle to the right, it searches to see if there were feeds on that page, and in this particular case there are none. So this would just remind me to check out his site. Now I'm going to go over to Ellen's blog, The Culture of Coaching, and I'm going to select that. So I'll copy it, and then I'll come back over here and let's see if it has a feed. There you go. So it has a variety of feeds. So if you rest your mouse over top, it tells you the kind of feeds that we're talking about. and I'm going to use this one right here. That's what it's going to look like, and I'm going to put that in education. I'll click the plus sign. So when I jump over here to education, I now have culture of coaching, plus I have PDE's standards aligned system as well. Now, the way that this particular news feed reader works is I can go through and pick an individual category if I want to. So if I go to tools and technology and I want to see what the newest stuff is on TechCrunch, I can click on that. It gives me a preview of it, and I'm going to add that to education as well. But you know what, I don't like it there, so I'm going to delete it by clicking that X, and instead I still want to use TechCrunch, but education is not where I want it. So I'm going to put it on this untitled tab, which is this one right here, and I'm going to give that a name. I'm going to call that technology. One of the unfortunate things I haven't been able to figure out on NetVibes is how to put a feed on a tab that basically doesn't exist. You can't create the tab in the process of adding the feed. So for example, I've added culture of coaching here, and I have several feeds that exist for that particular blog, and I'm going to pick this one, click the plus sign, and notice what it does is it puts it on the tab you happen to be on at the moment. Well, I don't particularly want it under educational leadership. I want to create a tab instead called coaching. So I'm going to click the plus sign and create that coaching tab. And okay, so I'll just go over here and drag it. Nope, that's not going to happen. It doesn't let you just move the existing feeds that you have onto another tab. So unfortunately, I need to close it and delete it, and then go into that tab itself and click the plus sign, and it will add it to my coaching tab. So a little bit of a limitation. However, there are some really cool things that this can do if you take a look at the categories and really study them. You'll get a feel for the variety of things that you can add to this particular RSS reader, and the essentials are very specific. For example, if you want to connect your Twitter account, your LinkedIn account, your Facebook account to NetVibes, it will allow you to do that, and then you can just watch your feed right in one place. So I'm at the top of their homepage, and I scroll all the way to the bottom where I'm looking for the letters RSS. That will take me down into the weeds. So rather than having to follow the high-end homepage feed, I can say, you know, my students are studying in science the environment. So I would like the RSS feed to the environment section of the New York Times. So I can click environment, and I can do one of two things. Now, I mentioned in the previous video that in Microsoft Outlook, you could save RSS feeds directly to there. So in this particular case, I get this little choice at the top of the window that says subscribe to this feed using, and I'm going to say Microsoft Outlook. I'll click Microsoft Outlook and then click subscribe now. And then when I go over to Outlook and go to my RSS feeds, you'll see that I'm going to say, yes, add the RSS feed. And over here on the left-hand side, I now have, besides the others that I had in the past, I now have the New York Times environment feed. So I can go to any of those articles. I can see a quick introduction to it, click view article, and it will take me right to the article on the New York Times website. Now, I could also do the following. I'm going to go back to the New York Times homepage. So let me go back to the homepage. And I'm going to go through the same path, but this time I'm going to go down to bottom of the page, pick RSS. I'll pick a different topic. Let's go to business, and let's go to economy. And rather than go through the process that I just went through, I'm going to select the feed and copy it. And then I'm going to jump back over to NetVibes where I was working before, and I can put that link right there in the feeds section. Click my arrow, and then I'm going to add that to my new section in NetVibes. So now I've closed NetVibes, I have the different feeds that I've added, and I showed you that in OneNote you can also follow your feeds, and we did Feedly, which I believe I still have open. There's Feedly, and you can add content in the same way with Feedly. So for example, I'm going to go to Feedly and I'm going to paste that New York Times economy section and select it. And now it's going to add it to Feedly as well. So you have some choices, and you'll have an opportunity to explore and pick the option that works best for you.